Hello aspirants, welcome to Bano IS. I am Amit Narani, Faculty of Polity and Constitutions. I have an experience of past 8 years of teaching and mentoring UPC aspirants. So in Bano IS class, we will be discussing the topic in a very detailed manner, also providing the dictations with respect to the topic. And at the end of the topic, we will be also discussing the PYQs, that is previous year questions, related to both prelims and mains. So in this class, let's start our discussions of a very small and very important topic with respect to the mains and prelims. So the topic which we are going to discuss today is parliamentary form of government. So parliamentary form of government. Now parliamentary form of government, when we discuss the topic parliamentary form of government, what do we mean by the parliamentary form of government? So when we say that the parliamentary form of government, which is different from the presidential form of government, the another type of the government is a presidential form of government. So in parliamentary form of government, it means that there is a coordinations and cooperations between the executive and legislature. So parliamentary form of government where both executive and legislature, there is a cooperations and coordinations. But when we say is in a presidential form of government, so in this presidential form of government, there is a separations, or rather we should say clear separation between executive and legislature. It's clear? So this is how we can differentiate between the presidential and parliamentary form of government. This parliamentary form of government is also known as cabinet form of government, or sometimes also known as an Westminster form of government. So why cabinet form of government? Because the rules, regulations and the government is been ruled through the in a form of cabinet. It is unlike in the presidential form of government where the main whole and soul is a president, but in India the whole discussions and decisions were taken in the form of cabinet, which is vested in a group of people, unlike presidential form where a power is vested in a single individual, that is president, and he has to decide, right? So this has given an importance in Indian constitutions. Now if you see feature of parliamentary form of government, so if we discuss the feature of the parliamentary form of government, the first feature says that there is a close relations between legislature and executive. Now what does it mean that there is a close relations? So if we compare the parliamentary form of government with the presidential form of government, so in parliamentary form of government, to be an executive, the one has to be a member of legislature. So without being a member of legislature, it means without being a member of parliament or without being a member of state assembly, a person cannot become a member of executive. Like he cannot be an executive like chief ministers or prime ministers, or we can say that any heading any departments or ministries. For to head any department or ministry, he has to be a member of legislature. It means first he get to elected through the people, then he become to the member of legislature, and then after becoming a legislature, he is eligible to be in the executive. Yes or no? But there is flexibilities which says that any outside person, the person who is not a member of the parliament or not a member of legislature, can become an executive, but the person has to get elected or to become a member of the house or a legislature within a period of 6 months. So if any person who is not a member of legislature, then he or she has to become member within 6 months of the period. Either he can get elected to the house or he can be nominated to the house. But the condition is that without being a member of parliament, without being a member of state assembly or legislature, the person cannot become an executive. Clear? So this makes that there is a close coordinations. As we have seen, the parliamentary form of government is in coordinations and cooperations. So this is seeing in close relations. So the person who is an executive is also being a member of parliament, is a part of legislature. Clear? So next, if you see the next feature of this parliamentary form of government, that is executive responsible to the legislature. Now we have seen that the persons who is a member of legislature can only become an executive. So it means the executive can be controlled by the legislature. Now what does it mean that they have been controlled or they have been responsible to the legislature? So this responsibility means that the executive, so in this executive we are meant to be known as a council of ministers including prime minister. So this council of ministers, according to the constitutions and also according to the provisions of parliamentary form of government, are responsible government. It means they have to answerable in the house, for whatever the actions they have done in their capacity or whatever the action they do not done in their capacity, and for that they need to answerable in the house. And for the actions or no actions taken in their capacity, they are also liable for punishment. So how the house punish? In the form of removal. When the house pass the no confidence motions, so and if the no confidence motion is passed, so it means that the executive has to resign. So this responsibility of this means that they are being made responsible, answerable to the house, and at the same time they can be also removed. So this means that they can be removed by the legislature. Clear? This is the second features of the parliamentary form of government, and because of this feature it is also known as responsible government. Clear? Okay, let's move to the next. So next feature is dual executive. Now what does it that dual executive means? So there is a dual executive. It means that there are two head. One is nominal head or nominal executive, or second is real executive, right? Now this nominal head or nominal executive, it says in the parliamentary form of government there are two types. One, when the parliamentary form of government is monarchical parliamentary form of government. So in this the nominal head will be king. Like, so example you can say that United Kingdom. So United Kingdom is a monarchical parliamentary form of government. So the head of the state or nominal head is a king, which is an hereditary. But in India, if you see, it is a republican parliamentary form of government. So in India, the nominal executive is an elected, right? That is President of India. So President of India is an elected, though he is indirectly elected, but he is an elected individuals. So this, it is a republican, where the head of the office or nominal executive office, head of the state, is been open to people. Everyone is eligible to contest elections of a president. So the head of the state will be president, and that is it first of the dual executive, right? So this is known as a nominal executive, means he has no real power. He has to act on the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers, but he should be representing India at the international level, and also he is being the head of the state. Now second, if you see that which becomes a real executive, so this real executive lies in the Council of Ministers, including the Prime Minister. And how they becomes? So they are the directly elected representative of the people, and the majority party comes and the leader of the majority was appointed as an prime ministers, and his advice on the advice of prime ministers, the Council of Ministers, are appointed by the president. So it becomes an, but the real executive is an head of the government. He is a head of government, whereas nominal executive, that is president, which is elected but indirectly elected in India, and he is an head of a state. Head of state. So we can also say that dual executive, or we have a two head. One is head of the state and one is head of an government. Is it clear? Now if you see the third one, next, that's secrecy of procedure. So next feature of the parliamentary form of government is secrecy of procedure. Now what does it mean? It means that whatever the advice, as we have seen that the nominal executive is to act on the advice of Council of Ministers, right? So whatever they are being providing the advice to the Council of President, that advice given by this Council of Ministers cannot be challenged in a court. So they have been given protections that they can freely give advice and they can functions. And also that in parliament, the members of the parliament, so they are be free, that there should not be any charges or they should not be challenged in a court of law. That can be done on the basis of secrecy. So whatever they say in the house, or they vote in favor or in against of any bill or any motions in the house, that should be kept in the secrecy, which means they should be free from the legal responsibilities. Is it clear? Now if you see the next, that is leadership of prime ministers, right? Now what does it mean? So it means that in parliamentary form of government, a majority party, which means that the party who comes with the majority number of seats in the house, is in a position to form a government, right? And then the leader of this majority party will be a prime minister, appointed as a prime minister. So this prime minister being the head of Council of Ministers, a real head of the Council of Ministers, and in his head or under his head, the Council of Ministers will be functioning. It also means that if Prime Minister resign from his office, it will be considered as a resignation of whole of a cabinet. So there is no need to, a resignation of cabinet has been given. Only the resignation of Prime Minister will be considered as a resignation of cabinet. If Prime Minister die in the office without any successor, so it also means the cabinet will fall and the government will fall. So they have to function. The cabinet will only be in the office only if there is a leadership of prime ministers is there, and if there is no prime minister, so there will be no government. Clear? If you see the next, that is a next feature is bicameral legislature. Now what is bicameral legislature? It means the legislature having two houses. Legislature having two houses. One is upper house as we call a Rajya Sabha in India, and the next is lower house as we call Lok Sabha or People's House in India. Okay? This is a functions of dual house. If you see that next, that is feature no fixed tenure. What does it mean? It means that if you remember, we have just started discussions with this, that executives have been responsible to the legislature. It means the legislature can remove them, they can be make control over them, and the executive, the government are eligible to remove by the legislature. And because of the control of legislature, executive can be removed from his office. Executive, that is council of ministers. Now when we say that executive, that is council of, if you being the very specific, the council of ministers. So this council of ministers are responsible to the legislature, and then this legislature in respect of that, they can remove them anytime. They can be removed by the legislature. It means they have no fixed tenure, that they, if they enjoying the confidence of the house, then only they can be in a house for the 5 years. If before the completion of the tenure of 5 years, if suppose they lose the majority, so they have to resign from their office. Is it clear? So these are the features of the parliamentary form of government. So now we will discuss the merit of parliamentary form of government. So let's start discussing merit of parliamentary form of government. So first is, it says that there is a better coordinations between executive and legislature. Now if you remember, we have discussed the one of the feature is that there is a close coordinations. So if there is a close coordinations between the executive and legislature, there is a relations. If there will be a relations between the executive and legislature, so it will be very beneficial that coordinations and cooperations of the executive and legislature, which helps in working together, right? So as we know that executives are parts of legislature in parliamentary form of government. So they are being a member of parliament, they're being a member of state legislative assemblies or state legislature, and then on the basis of their majoritarian government, they will be forming a government, and on the basis of their majority number of seats in the house, they will be forming an executive. So it means that the executives, they have to become an executive, they have to becomes the first member of the legislature. So it helps that the same persons, the person who is also acting as the time of the one time as a legislature, so at that time he has been acting as an executive. So there is a coordinations which helps the government to functions really well, and also we know that these executives are responsible to the legislature. So this makes a better coordinations between the legislature and executive, unlike the presidential form of government where there is a clear-cut separation of power. There is no relations between executive and legislature. So the executive, they are working their own, legislature working their own, which means that there is no coordination. So that can may delay the process, that may create a deadlock between the two of the organs of the government, which is not going to happen in the parliamentary form of government because of their relations, a close relations, a better coordinations which help them to work together and functioning the government. Clear? If you see the second, that is prevent authoritarianism, which means that the executive cannot become an authoritarianism. There is no chances of being the dictatorship in a parliamentary form of government, because of the reason why, because this executives, they have been controlled by the government. They have been not by the government, but controlled by the legislature. So if the executive is being in a positions to lose the majority, they will be thrown out of the government. So executive is there to, legislature is there to control them. Legislature is there to make responsible to them in the house, in the Lok Sabha. So which means that they do not have a fixed tenure. Independently, they are not living independently. Should be in coordinations. If a membership of a person is lost, if a membership of a parliamentary person, any member of a parliament or any member of a state legislature has been lost, he will also be uneligible, disqualified to be a member of executive. So to become a member of executive, the person has to be a member of legislature, and the executives are being controlled by the legislature, which helps in that it is not possible in the parliamentary form of government that they can become an authoritarian, which is likely to be in the presidential form of government, where the executive, the governments or the executives, head of the departments, head of the ministries are not been controlled by the legislature, or in the another term we can say that legislature cannot remove them, or they do not control over the executive in presidential form of government, right? Now if you see the next, it representing diverse group. How? In parliamentary form of government, how, as we know that we have a representative government, this parliamentary form of government also known as representative government, indirect government chosen by the people. So we the people choose our representative from each of the constituencies in a parliamentary Lok Sabha constituency or state assemblies constituencies. So each the person who has been representing the constituency will representing those people in the house. So it means each of the diverse sections of the community will be given representations in the parliament, not only in the parliament but also in the executive, that their voices is to be heard by the government. So this is representative, representing a diverse groups. Now there is a flexibilities. Flexibilities means they are been, the executives are not you can say that rigid in their decisions. They have to agree according to the legislature, because they have been controlled, they have been part of the legislature. So they have to be flexible in their policies. They have to accommodate the views of the others also. A diverse views has to be accommodated in their decisions, because every decisions of the executive in parliamentary form of government, unlike the presidential form of government, they have to be taken through the people, and people took decisions through their representative in the house. So the bill or any actions or any plans or policies or laws of the government has to be passed by the parliament, then only they can be implemented. So in that case they have to be very flexible in the accommodating the interest of an different groups. Clear? So these are the merits of the parliamentary form of government. Now if we discuss the demerits, so let's discuss the demerits of the parliamentary form of governments. So demerit of the parliamentary form of government, what are the weaknesses, shortcomings, criticisms of the parliamentary form of government? So the first criticism is there is no clear-cut separation of power. As we can see, in presidential form of government, the executives are not responsible to the legislature, right? It means that if anyone wants to become an executive head of the departments and ministries in the presidential form of government, that depends upon the choice of the president, that he can choose anyone outside the parliament also, outside the legislature also, and give him the department. There is no necessities and conditions that the person who wants to become an executive has to be a member of legislature. So it means in presidential form of government, the executives are separated. There is a clear distinctions between the two, executive and the legislature. But when we see in the parliamentary form of government, the separations of power, there is no separation of power. Means the persons, if anyone wants to become an executive, the person has to be a member of legislature. So the same persons acting in the capacity of the two. One time he has been an executive, and also he at the same time he is a member of the parliament. So to become a member of parliament, to become an executive, the person has to be a member of parliament or a member of assembly or state legislature. If any person is disqualified to be or she is ineligible to be and hold an office or a member of the parliament or legislature, he is also ineligible to hold the ministries or hold the executive. So because of this, we can say there is no distinctions, a clear-cut separations of power in parliamentary form of government, right? Next is unqualified legislature. Now, unqualified legislature, it means that in parliamentary form of government, we do not have an education as a qualifications to be elected for the elections. They do not have a good background with respect to any topic or any concern or any politics. So they have been illiterate. So they do not have we can say that unqualified. They are not qualified in terms of because of this, we can say that parliamentary form of parliament sometimes represents as a generalist view in terms of any subject. Clear? Next, instability. Now this, how it's instability? If you remember, there is one of the merit is stability. There is a stability that the government is flexible, right? Because of the reason of is, if we see that executives are responsible to the legislature, and legislature can remove them any point of time. It means the executive can only be in the office as long as they enjoy the majority of the house or majority in the legislature. If the executives are not enjoying the majority in the legislature, they will be not in a positions to hold the office. So it shows an instability. Any point of time they can be thrown or they can be removed from the office by the legislature, because the legislature have a control over them. Am I clear? Right? Now if you see the next, that the ministers, now in this, if we compare this, parliamentary form of government, in the presidential form of government, the ministers are known as an expert ministers, and in parliamentary form of government they are generalist ministers. Why a presidential form of government and expert ministers? Because the presidential form of government, they give the persons to head a department, any of the department, only to those persons who are expert in their field. So if any person is expert in finance, he is doing good in financial matter or in a financial field, he will be hand over the government department of finance. If any individual is been good in his field in terms of science, technology, or in AIs or anything on in space technology, so he will be handed over the ministries. There is no requirement that the person has to fight, contest an elections and become a member of the parliament, then only he can be eligible for holding the ministership. No, this is not a condition in the presidential form of government. So because of this nature, they are known as an expert ministers, expert in their field, so they are holding the positions. But in parliamentary form of government, they required to become a ministers or an executive, they have to be a member of the parliament. Either they are an expert or they are not an expert of their field. So because of this nature, they are known as an generalist ministers, because they have no expertise in their field, in any field. They just get elected through the peoples, they represent the people's view, they represent the peoples in parliamentary form of government and being a part of the legislature. So by this, if their party is being in the majority, they will be given a department to be head in the ministries. Clear? Next, failure to take prompt decisions. Now executives are failed to take in parliamentary form of government. Why? Because they have to represent the diverse decisions. They have to live on the expectations, or they have been living under the control of legislature, because legislature have been control the executive. So if any decision they have to take permission. They have to ask before the taking of the decisions of any bill or any law or any act, that has to be passed by the parliament. Then only they can take any decisions. Then only the law can be formed. So it means it is acting as an blockade in the functionings. So they are failed to take any prompt decisions. Now if you see the next, that is party politics. Now as we know that one of the feature is a majority party rule, right? So it means only the party who will having a majority number of seats in the legislature is in a positions to form a government. So if any party which is forming a government with them based on majority of the seats, the representative of the parties, the candidate of the parties who get elected on the party seat, they have to bear the party thought process, ideals of the parties. The party politics would be there. The pressure from the party would be there, that you have to do this point, this kind of law, you have to come up with this laws. You cannot go with this, you cannot do this. Means there is a many party politics because of the party are given the role in formations of government. Next is controlled by the bureaucracy. So parliamentary form of government, as we have seen, that they are not an expert in their field. They are generalists. They are not stability in there. They come only for the fixed number. Next time they may not be in a positions to get elected, or their party is not in a positions that in the next election they get majority. They cannot form a government. So all those are the works of the government are being controlled by bureaucracy, and bureaucracy plays an important role in formations in controlling the government. Clear?
अगर आप दिल्ली जैसे शहर में बजट में आईएएस की तैयारी करना चाहते हैं तो इस वीडियो को एंड तक जरूर देखें। ये है बनो आईएएस। इसको रन करने वाले हैं यूपीएससी क्वालिफाइड एक्स सिविल सर्वेंट एंड जामिया आरसी एलुमनाई। यहाँ की फैकल्टी को ना केवल यूपीएससी एग्जाम का एक्सपीरियंस है, बल्कि पढ़ाने का भी सालों का एक्सपीरियंस है। ये एक्सपर्ट फैकल्टी हर टॉपिक को अच्छे से एक्सप्लेन करते हैं, उसके बाद हर टॉपिक को डिक्टेट करते हैं, ताकि आपके पास अपने खुद के हैंड रिटन नोट्स हो। साथ ही क्लास में प्रीलिम्स और मेंस के प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चन को सॉल्व किया जाता है और डिस्कस भी किया जाता है।
यहाँ पे आपको सिविल सर्वेंट्स जैसे कि आईएएस, आईआरएस और एक्स सिविल सर्वेंट्स साथ के साथ जामिया आरसी के एलुमनाइज आपको पर्सनल मेंटरशिप देते हैं। डेली आंसर राइटिंग जो कि सारे टॉपर्स रिकमेंड करते हैं, इस पर यहाँ पे बहुत फोकस किया जाता है, जो कि बाकी कोचिंग्स में नहीं होता है। इसके साथ ही आपको मिलती है प्रीलिम्स और मेंस की टेस्ट सीरीज, जो आपको एग्जाम के लिए रेडी करती है। यहाँ के अगर हाईलाइट्स की बात करें तो स्मॉल बैच साइजेस जिसमें 60 स्टूडेंट्स होते हैं, और जीएस कोर्स के साथ आपको एसए और सीसाइट की क्लासेस भी होती है, जिसके लिए आपको अलग से पे करने की जरूरत नहीं है।
और ये लोकेटेड है सुखदेव विहार मेट्रो स्टेशन के बिल्कुल सामने। तो देर किस बात की, आज ही स्टार्ट करें और अपने यूपीएससी के सपने को साकार करें। थैंक यू फॉर वॉचिंग बनो आईएएस।